What if I told you a business that once made ordinary people rich was silently destroyed on purpose? Not because it failed, not because people stopped needing it, but because it became too powerful for the system. The scariest part is that most people still don't realize it even happened. Stay till the end, because once you understand this, you'll never look at modern businesses the same way again. Welcome to Zero to Billion, the channel where we expose hidden business truths, psychological manipulation, and future realities no one dares to talk about. If you want to understand how money really moves and why most people stay stuck financially, subscribe now, because ignorance is expensive. The business that was killed was small independent retail. Local shops, family stores, street markets, and independent sellers. For decades, this model worked perfectly. You didn't need millions, investors, or advanced technology. You just needed a product, trust, and customers. People built generational wealth from these simple businesses. Nothing was broken, and that is exactly why it became dangerous. Small businesses gave people freedom. Freedom to control income, set prices, build community power, and stay independent from corporations. When millions of people control their own income, they don't depend on systems. And systems don't like independence. Independent people question authority, don't follow trends blindly, avoid unnecessary debt, and don't chase fake lifestyles. That's when the slow destruction began. The attack didn't start directly. It started with convenience. Why go outside when you can order with one click? Why talk to a shopkeeper when everything is delivered to your door? Convenience rewired human behavior. People didn't leave local shops because they were bad. They left because comfort felt better than connection. Then came the price war. Big platforms sold products at a loss, not to make money, but to eliminate competition. Small businesses couldn't survive rising rents, taxes, and costs, while corporations could afford to bleed money for years. This wasn't competition, it was economic warfare, and most people celebrated it without understanding the consequences. Once small businesses collapsed, dependency was created by design. People became dependent on jobs instead of ownership, platforms instead of customers, and algorithms instead of skills. Even today, many so-called online sellers don't actually own businesses. They rent space on Amazon, Shopify, Instagram, or TikTok. One algorithm update and their income disappears overnight. That's not freedom. That's digital slavery. The truth no one says out loud is that small businesses weren't inefficient. They were uncontrollable. You can't easily control millions of independent owners, but you can control platforms, supply chains, data, and advertising. That's why the world shifted from people to corporations, owners to employees, and skills to subscriptions. People still don't talk about this because the system benefited consumers in the short term. Cheaper prices, faster delivery, and endless options made life feel easier. But long term, the cost was fewer owners, more debt, less power, and less freedom. People unknowingly traded ownership for comfort, and now going back feels impossible. Here's the scary part. The same pattern is repeating right now. Freelancers, content creators, online sellers, and even AI tool users are walking into the same trap. Platforms give opportunity first, then dependency, then control. History doesn't repeat itself. It upgrades. Smart people aren't fighting the system loudly. They're building quietly inside it. They focus on personal brands, direct audiences, email lists, communities, and skills that can't be automated. They don't chase trends. They build leverage, because in the future, attention and trust will be more valuable than money. If your income depends on one platform, one employer, or one algorithm, you don't own a business. You're renting survival, and rent always goes up. That is the reality most people discover too late. This business wasn't killed by accident. It was killed because it gave people too much freedom, and freedom is dangerous for those who want control. The real question isn't what business should I start, but how do I avoid becoming dependent? If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to Zero to Billion, because the future belongs to people who understand the game before the rules change.